Alright, so kind of back to sum up, a lot of stuff, got all the challenges sort of listed here. Covered quite a bit. This has actually been a pretty good little challenge, a pretty good look at all these things that are going on here in the Exodus account and the hardening of Pharaoh's heart. I'll be honest and say that I think I enjoyed answering back these challenges, looking up scripture and really seeing what's going on here. There's certainly a lot to learn, a lot to look into and stuff like that. But I do have to say, a lot of these challenges really could have been avoided. So much of this is answered on basic Calvinism books, on basic tulip books. In video, we've in video number 8. I provided some resources. I used some of James White's stuff, a book called Living for God's Glory, one of Dr. White's old books called God's Sovereign Grace. I think that has a new title now. Use Grace Unknown by R.C. Sproul. But they're so basic, which leads me, and I don't want to go too far with this, but, there's some motive issues here, that I think really need to be questioned with Mr. Ruggiero. He claims to have studied and stuff like that, but there almost seems like there's no evidence, of the study of this basic stuff. A lot of these questions can be answered in Sproul's book, Chosen by God, the issues with Pharaoh and stuff like that. Looking up on a commentary, something that's available, probably even on the internet, on Google Books or something like that. The fact that Mr. Ruggiero puts out these little challenges, and then he tells me, oh, I'm not going to even look at your videos. What's the point of putting them out? If you want my opinion, I think he's being deceptive. I really do. He wants to put these out to make himself, and make his theology look like it's the truth. It's all in line, and oh geez, what's that proverb? It says something to the effect of like, a person seems right until another person comes along. Well, Mr. Ruggiero wants to seem right. He wants to be like that first person, but he doesn't want to let anybody else come along. He claims he wants Dr. White, but if he's really just serious about the theology, I think he would be willing to answer anybody, and not just Dr. White. That's really what leads me to believe that this is something personal with Lou. This is not driven for God's glory at all. This is something personal with Lou and Dr. White. I'm not stepping in for Dr. White. Dr. White has his own, he defends himself. I'm stepping in for Scripture, for God's glory, that I think Mr. Ruggiero's theology really misrepresents. I think that in some of these challenges I've shown where, the alternative that Lou's presenting, from Calvinism really is a God who's ignorant, is a God who doesn't know, is a God who can't run his own creation, and a God who's subject to the free will of creatures. And that's not a God that's worthy of worship. That's not a God that's worthy to be loved. Lou's big thing, God permits, or decrees, the rape of a child. Lou's worldview would basically be that mankind is on the loose and God can't do anything about it. It has no purpose unless that purpose is defined by the free will of man. So what is purpose in life? Well, everybody has to define your own purpose. This is what gave rise to, really, this was existential philosophy. That's what led to the angst, of the despair, because you were so free, so autonomous, that you have to define your own purpose. You're just thrown into existence, and it's up to your freedom to define yourself. That's horrible. That really is. With God decreeing, and yes, there are horrible things that happen, and God, uses those things. I think I'll agree with Dr. White's statement that God does use those things, and God can give them purpose. We see it in Scripture, I mean, God in His judgments, told people, these people are going to come along and they're going to dash your kids. They're going to kill them. Lou doesn't object to, when Scripture says it, but a Calvinist says it, and, all hell breaks loose, apparently. So my challenge to Dr. Ruggiero, or goodness, Dr. Ruggiero, no, to Mr. Ruggiero, that's twice I've done that, is really, one, if you're serious about these issues and you're really serious about engaging them and looking at them, then let's interact. You don't like YouTube ping pong or something like that, shoot, write an email, do something, but don't give a challenge and then run away. I'm going to say it, but it's very, very cowardly of you to do that, to hide behind, I don't play YouTube ping pong. If you're serious about this, then let's engage it, let's look at it, look at my challenges, look at them seriously, look at the text, and let's discuss. If you want to do it over a private email, it doesn't have to be public unless this is just about you and getting your name out there in your book like you keep sticking the plugs for. No, if it's really something in your heart, let's sit down and discuss it, be able to do it that way too. It's not just about these kinds of interactions. Secondly, I think I would challenge Mr. Ruggiero to really go back and evaluate what he studied of Calvinism and to be honest with it and to quit putting in the misrepresentations that he does, because at this point, with how much he says he studied, that means he's willfully misrepresented Calvinism, and that's I don't think that's God glorifying. So I hope these videos have been a blessing to anybody that they've come across. I hope they've been able to benefit you or at least throw you into deeper study. And feel free to disagree with my videos. I'll be free to interact back either by video or email. I get a lot of emails on YouTube. And let's just, let's look for the truth. If that's what we're really after, if that's what we say we want, let's go for it. Let's use Scripture. Let's engage. Pray about it. Study the Word. But I think we've been able to use the Word sufficiently, in backing up all the assertions and the challenges. So I think that answers these 10 challenges, and hopefully, the questions that I did pose will get responded to by Mr. Ruggiero. If he doesn't watch these, maybe somebody can, direct them to him, and honestly, he put them out, so we stepped up to the plate. God has spoken in Scripture, so we'll take that. Thanks.